Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 70 of the Welsh Yogi Podcast.
Episode 70?
Yeah, we've been recording this podcast for over 4 years now.
Wow.
Almost 5 years actually.
Really?
Which is quite crazy.
5 years?
Maybe. I think so, yeah. Either 5 or 4, but yeah.
That's mental.
Time ticks quick. You can't buy back a second.
My God. I'm depressed today. You're going to have to...
Why are you
It was a
depressed?
full moon yesterday.
It's a solar eclipse.
Not full moon, solar eclipse, yeah.
What does that mean though? It means like big changes are happening in life.
I don't know. But that's where the word lunatic comes from, innit? With all the moon and everything.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Lunatic.
I'm struggling today. Yeah, with the lunar, innit?
Yeah, it makes sense. Wonder what
Did you know that when you see the tide going in and out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not the... That's not the... I used to think it was like the sea moving at the gravitational pull of the moon. Actually, the sea, it's not the sea moving, it's the earth, because the coast is actually remaining where it is. It's the earth is moving back and forth.
No.
Yeah, it is.
It's just simply not true.
It is.
So you're saying the earth is pulsating?
No, it just moves. It's according to it, as it rotates, it's affected by the...
No.
So I think the something like the... Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not scientific enough to argue with you.
Scientifical.
But exactly.
Wow.
I'm not willing to argue on that point, so I'll just accept it. Finally. What do you mean? Like the earth is moving? Say what?
So you look at it, you think, oh, the tide's coming. You think the water is moving
So the
in and out in
the land is
relation.
moving.
It's the earth is moving.
Which earth?
The
Planet
water. The water is keeping its.
The
And
water still.
this isn't just some like.
I'm sorry. Where have
No,
you heard
this isn't
this?
some
What's your
Malawi
source?
Christian thing.
What's your source of information?
Some scientist.
Some scientist. I can't believe you. Like,
It's true.
there's
Google it.
No, there's no
Google
chance.
it now. Google it.
I can't Google it. All my devices are occupied. But
Alright.
I'm
Go with it.
gonna have to just disagree with you. But anyway, there are 6 kinds of rasas taste.
We did this. We read that already.
We've read that, have we? As
Where are
stated
we,
before,
anyway?
the tongue, belly, and genitals are situated in a
What page are you
straight
on?
line. I'm on page 11, but I think we're on page 12. The top of page 12. What'd you say?
I'm going to apologise in advance for this podcast.
Yeah,
To anyone
sometimes
listening.
it's like skydiving. You just free falling, and yeah, maybe something will look nice for a second. I agree, to be honest. I think I'm a bit of a lunatic today.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd maybe try and save. You did a podcast relying on you, but judging by the last 30 seconds, I think that is legal
Thanks, Vu.
and religious. Oh, religious.
Where are you?
Can you read it, please?
When a man is properly mature.
Right.
I
We're
think-
it's top of page 12.
Yeah, I think we've read it, but it's a good spot to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a good example because sometimes in spiritual life you do feel like Mars is right Uranus and it's not one of those days. Like,
Mercury's in retrograde, and
but you still
yeah, you
do it anyway.
You do your duty. You fight for the sake of fighting without considering
This video
happiness or
isn't going to go on,
distress.
is it?
It's a bit of an ugly video as well.
It is, yeah. I'm not looking my best today.
I got a shaved head though, so that's a bonus. You know what I'm saying?
Go on.
I'm just gonna read, and hopefully Prabhupada will save the day with his purport.
Yeah.
When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. I think we read this already.
Really?
Yeah. We're shy on it.
Okay.
Maybe start.
I mean, it's right. I always enjoy reading about the
Okay.
genitals.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay.
Carry on.
Right. Okay, so yeah. If one indulges in illicit sex, as defined by the Shastras, either by thinking, planning, talking about, or actually having sexual intercourse, or by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. These instructions apply not only to householders, but also to Tyagis, or those who are in the round order of life. We've read this.
Yeah, we have.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
We're like pages ahead. But we haven't finished the text yet. My dear brother, you're in the round order of life and should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things, nor should you talk about worldly things when you meet with others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the instance of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve the lordships, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, in your heart of hearts.
So this stuff about indulging in illicit sex and planning and thinking or actually having sex, these are all forbidden things. This kind of goes very contrary to our Western modern worldview, where everyone's free to do and think and act like on that sexual platform, isn't it? So surely when devotees pick up Krishna consciousness, this is it's probably an obstacle, right? Like this kind of sexual side of things.
Yeah, the whole restraint of the senses is difficult, isn't it? That's the whole. That's where the difficult thing happens. But that's also where Prabhupada calls it in the Bhagavad Gita the regulative principles of freedom. So, because within restriction is freedom. So, like if you were going in the car, you would okay, there's a red light, stop.
Stops you from getting T-boned by a bus.
Yeah. So, but if I so following the rules of driving means I can get in the car and I can drive wherever I want. But if you choose not to follow the rules, thinking the rules are restrictive, actually you'll have a crash or get caught by the police and actually get your license taken off you and be completely restricted. So within restraint is actual freedom, and the trick of the material energy is making you think that, if I just be free of my senses, then actually that is freedom. But actually all you're doing is hamstringing yourself more and more and more. And even more so, Jagannatha Pandit here in his quote is saying that if you are claiming, like wearing saffron cloth, or you're claiming that you're renounced, but you have many like gurus who say like, I'm free from sex desire or whatever, but then they have many secret girlfriends and stuff, and that's even worse. It's better to be honest about where you're at in spiritual life or material life. And
so I take a point, like following the rules is the best way to like interact with the road. So in other words, like these Vedic rules are like the best way to interact with the material world. But what I'm saying is,
and you get maximum taste out of it as well. You get maximum flavour.
No, I get it, right?
Material
I get it, but like the rules of the world in terms of the Western world is kind of like you can just drive wherever you want.
It's not. No, there's rules. There's just rules of the world. And thinking like, this. I mean, we don't make up our own laws. Like we have to. Follow
I know, but like the mentality that we acquire from like all of the kind of sexualized music and all of the, the way the world is. It's like when people come from India and they try and drive in the UK, they can't do it because in India there's no rules on the road. They go everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like it's much harder for them to adapt. So what I'm saying is like some people might be struggling to like follow the rules because their conditioning is free for all.
Yeah.
So how would you start following the rules? Like how would you start?
You start just by trying. I mean, if there's a Bhagavad Gita here, there is, but it's all over there.
I'll get you one, do I?
You are, yeah. But basically, just by trying to, and that's what Krishna talks about in the Bhagavatam as well, when it comes to yoga, just trying to follow the rules and regulations. Actually, I might have it here. I have like a list. I have little things on my phone. Like try and keep. So Krishna is talking about those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions, who follow these teachings faithfully, without envy, become free from the bondage of furtive actions. So the purport of Prabhupada says that an ordinary man with firm faith in the eternal injunctions of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness.
Nice. Yeah. So it's the intention, the desire to follow these rules is more important than the ability to follow them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's otherwise we'll all be,
So
you're not expected to be perfect straight away.
What would you do? What would you say for someone who has kind of like done something they perceive as wrong and their mind is beating them up about it?
I would say that. Well, here we go. In Srimad Bhagavatam, I'll just say what Krishna says, because sometimes that's another thing as well. We have our own psychological idea of, or hang up of, okay, I've done this, so therefore God hates me, Krishna hates me. But actually that's the material energy victimizing us and trying to isolate us and make us feel alone, make us feel like, God and everyone hates you. But that's the material energy. If you want, what does God actually say? So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Krishna speaking to Uddhava. Having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery. So you might theoretically know all this, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me. Now that is if you've
what verse is this, just for people?
This is Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 20, text 27 to 28.
Of Canto 11.
Canto 11, yeah. And that's also so Krishna actually says you should be happy and continue doing your service.
Yeah.
Now, if you've done something wrong,
Yeah.
to be happy is the hardest thing to do in the world.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to remain happy, even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment. My devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities.
Pretty powerful, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Happy Chet as well. Happy Chet Sudaracha.
If one completes most abominable activities, she can consider saintly.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Because of previous bad habits and immaturity, even a sincere devotee may be harassed by lingering attraction to the bodily concept of life. But his unflinching devotion for Lord Krishna will act. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the following two examples. A great warrior may be struck by the weapon of his enemy, but because of his courage and strength, he is not killed or defeated. He accepts the blow and goes on to victory. Similarly, one may contract a serious disease, but if he takes the proper medicine, he is quickly cured. If those who follow the impersonal system of speculation or austerity deviate even slightly from their path, they fall down. A devotee, however, even though immature, never falls from the path of devotional service. Even if he displays occasional weakness, he is still considered a devotee if his devotion to Lord Krishna is very strong.
Where's that from?
That's also from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's from the purport 11, 14, 18. That's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's.
Powerful stuff, really, isn't it?
Yeah. You never give up. I mean, the stuff in the first canto, Narada Muni says that you should, you never.
You have to keep going, even if, because the mind will beat you up, and I've fallen short of where I think I should be, or because it's especially common when you first come to spiritual life, you have some over exaggerated version of how advanced you should be or what level you should be on. It's like a symptom of unsteady devotion, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just calm down, keep going with a smile on your face.
Yeah, this idea that, I mean, it's a painful thing, but the idea is okay, I've fallen, but that's never, I mean, Srila Prabhupada used to cry with compassion and love whenever a devotee would go away and come back. You know what I mean?
Just keep coming back, innit?
Yeah, you never give up. Every time you knock down, you just brush yourself, and there's that. What's that poem? The Race. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that's a banger.
Yeah, should we read it?
Yeah. We got 3% battery,
so it should be enough for the
enough.
Race poem. Yeah. So here is, if you are in spiritual life or any life at all, any endeavor. This is by Dr. D.H.D. Groberg. Whenever I start to hang on my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son, and each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they flew like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero there was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, "My dad will be so proud." But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, "Get up and win that race." He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs, he slipped and fell again. He wished that he had quit before, with only one disgrace. "I'm hopeless as a runner now, I shouldn't try to race." But through the laughing crowd he searched and found his father's face, with a steady look that said again, "Get up and win that race." So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. "If I'm to gain those yards," he thought, "I gotta run real fast." Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8th then 10th, but trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat. He lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. "There's no sense running any more. 3 strikes I'm out, why try? I've lost, so what's the use," he thought. "I'll live with my disgrace." But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. "Get up," an echo sounded low. "You haven't lost at all, for all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall." "Get up," the echo urged him on. "Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race." So up he rose to run once more, refusing to forfeit, and he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had and ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen, stumbling, 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he least ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line and won first place, head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, "I didn't do so well." "To me you won," his father said. "You rose each time you fell." And now when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my race. For all of life is like that race, with ups and downs and all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in my face, another voice within me says, "Get up and win that race."
Beautiful that is, like.
Yeah, so especially in something as heroic and special as, spiritual life, no matter how many times you have difficulty, no matter how many times you fall, there may be others who, glide through. But if you manage to go through all the ups and downs and apparent, disgraces, but when you hit the finish line, you'll get the greatest cheer because you've gone through everything in order to still get perfection.
Beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
It's good. We started like that. We were started on the ground.
Yeah.
And you rose us up. Do you know what I mean? Well done, Gopal.
Yeah, well done, Rupa.
We needed to hear that.
To read a few
I
things.
think we all needed to hear that.
I needed to hear that today. I feel uplifted. That's why I have a little list of things in my phones I have to get out now and then just to.
Yeah. Thanks to the listeners. Thanks to.
Thank you. So we literally only got a page left of this purport to finish.
Yeah, then text 2. If you want a copy, let us know.
Yeah.
And I sent one out to Andy from Bridgend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got.
I love Andy. Now. Andy's one of the main reasons I'm in spiritual life and Krishna consciousness and joining ashram. He loved me and cared for me so much. Yeah. He's a good boy. He's a good soul.
God bless Andy.
He sent me a message. He wanted a verse to learn.
Oh yeah.
You can learn anything that inspires you, I guess. But he sent in one verse. Maybe talk about it next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you. Hare Bol.